All right, we're here with Jon Swartz, a tech writer from USA Today. What have your impressions been so far of South by 2011?
Well, Dale, like yours, it's crowded. It's way too crowded. I heard from somebody in the organizing committee of South by Southwest who told me that the attendance here is actually, it's not up 30%, it's up 100%. And as you can tell by the foot traffic and the sheer number of people and the traffic snarling, I think it's outgrown Austin, actually. And I think they got to do something about where they're going to hold it next year or how they're going to allow so many people to try to descend on such a small area.
Have you heard any ideas?
No, actually, one of the things one of the things I want to do is reach out to some of the organizers and ask them, one, did you have a lot of complaints about this show outgrowing itself? There's been talk, I talked to Dennis Crowley about this, and he said it's kind of like a music festival, like Lollapalooza. You know, it's cool when the right number of people are there, but once it gets too big, it's not considered cool anymore. On the flip side, Dave Morin, who used to be at Facebook, who's now at Path, was telling me the same thing. He says he thinks it's still vital and still thinks it's a great show, but you know, it just got bigger. And with every show, there's always a growing pains. This happened with RSA. They moved it out of a small venue in San Jose, moved it to San Francisco. I'm not sure if they would move this out of this immediate vicinity, but they'd probably have to do a better part on logistics and handling so many people over just 2 or 3 days.
So you don't think this is just people complaining just to complain? I mean, you think there are
I think this is legitimate. I think based on your own experiences, it's just incredibly difficult to get from one venue to another. Ironically, I think the parties weren't as hard to get into this year, and one of the reasons is there were just more. Last year there seemed to be 10 major parties. This year there seemed to be 20 or 30, so it was more well dispersed. But trying to get your job done or trying to move around was a hassle. I remember going over to a Starbucks just to meet somebody, and I saw literally 100 people in line there at 11 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday, which it just seemed strange.
So moving on to the positives, because there's still a lot of positives here.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your favorite thing that's happened here at South by?
Right. I mean, the crowds actually reflect the idea that this show is still great. I mean, it's a must-go-to show for any company with any type of internet presence. I absolutely think so. And you see companies like eBay and Skype showing up now, and Intuit and Microsoft having even bigger presences. The mobile messaging services got a lot of buzz, a lot of talk about GroupMe, Beluga, which Facebook just bought, Bongo, Kik was everywhere, Flipboard was everywhere. I like that, but I also like, for me, it's the art of discovery, finding something. There's an app, I'm wearing a shirt for an app called Busy. Basically, the idea of Busy, it's like a discovery tool, unlike Yelp. With Busy, you pretty much lay out which type of restaurants you like, and then based on holding your phone out and telling them that you're hungry, you get a listing in chronological order of the best match for you possibly. We used it and ended up at a rib place, which was fantastic. There's that. There's a lot of personalized services that are based exactly on what you want in terms of iPad apps and other types of things. It's just, to me, the best part of a show like this is just the unknown, and you meet a lot of interesting people and you hear a lot of ideas, and it's a great networking opportunity.
It seems like everything's going more towards that personal aspect of technology, whereas Twitter was kind of connecting you with this massive community, but now it seems like it's doing more individual based.
Absolutely. So there's a new app called Tello, which is for the iPad. It basically you go into a place and you give it a commentary or grade for your friends on a network. That's kind of the same idea as Busy. Then you also have something like Zeit, which is a personalized iPad magazine app. It's kind of like Flipboard, except it's much more personalized. It's easier to use. You're going to see Yahoo and AOL try to do the same thing on a larger scale. Yeah, you're right. It's all about personalization, about making your experience through your mobile phone as immediate and as efficient as possible. It's about convenience, but I think more so it is about, with all this noise and all this data descending on us daily, it's kind of a way to streamline that data and kind of filter it and send to you what's most particularly interests you or fits your needs or what your wants are.
Yeah, that's good. Dennis Crowley from Foursquare today you mentioned him earlier. He said that he wants to move Foursquare to where you can click a place, and then 6 months later, when you happen to walk by it, it'll remind you.
It'll remind you.
Oh, hey, you wanted to go to dinner there.
That's funny. So I was at Intel a few days ago down in Santa Clara, and there's a guy there who has an app, and he was talking about Foursquare, and he said, "Look, that's exactly what he was talking about. This idea or concept that you go someplace that you love, and rather than you reach out to it, it reaches out to you. So now they're going to grab you or poke you and give you an idea. Hey, you're in the vicinity, there's a deal here, there's a sale, whatever, if it's a restaurant, a bar, a shop, baseball tickets. It will remind you if you're in the vicinity that here's something that you might want to use based on your previous experience."
Final question, which of all these apps do you think has the best chance of catching on and maybe becoming the next Twitter or Foursquare?
GroupMe got a tremendous amount of buzz leading into the show. I know that our paper and the New York Times wrote about it on Friday, but it definitely created a tremendous amount of interest, and I think that it will not dissipate. I actually think mobile messaging services, especially the use of the mobile phone and the love of chat, it's pretty well primed to at least break through for the foreseeable future.
It really seems like these group chats are the heart of what BlackBerry Messenger is, and so it's interesting that that's like the one selling point BlackBerry had.
May not have one anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually, you might even diminish the BlackBerry Messenger on that score. But I do believe that, given the amount of talk that I've heard and coverage and word of mouth, that GroupMe was the star of the show, as maybe Foursquare and Twitter were before it.